Hello and welcome to yet another edition of your show InterFace Gambia TV. It's a special interview we'll be having today. My name is Lamin Jaiteh. Welcome once again to the InterFace Gambia TV show. Today we'll be having a chat with someone from the Ida Bass Kidney Foundation, and her name is Sailey Jallow Fladsrud. Sailey, welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right, well, naturally, tell us a little bit about, more about Ida Bass Kidney Foundation.
The charity is named after my mom, Ida Bass, who unfortunately passed away in September 2013. And it was when she was diagnosed with end-stage renal failure when I decided to set up the charity. And we've been going for 6 years now.
Okay. And from a personal experience that your mom, like you said, passed away as a result of kidney problems. And why do you want to help?
Well, I mean, having witnessed what I've witnessed whilst my mom was receiving treatment at the hospital, I've always mentioned the fact that when we started the charity, there was, there is still only one dialysis center. But at the time, we only had 4 machines for the whole country. And because of that, the patient mortality rate was extremely high. And that's the reason why I decided to set up the charity, to try and improve kidney care services in the Gambia and create more access to the treatment for more patients.
Okay. How has it been going? I understand you go to Gambia, come back with some charity equipment and personnel. Tell us more about this.
Well, we have been working with the Manchester Royal Infirmary now for just over 2 years now. This is something that I've been very passionate about to establish in the Gambia, which is vascular access, the vascular access program. When your kidneys fail, you start dialysis, obviously. You'll have an option initially to have a catheter inserted into your jugular vein or on your thigh. But this, most of the patients find extremely uncomfortable with the heat and everything in Gambia because they normally put lots of plasters on it. So they've always appealed to me to support with the vascular access so that, this will eliminate the discomfort they experience with the lines on their necks and on their thighs. This surgery, they could either, I know that it's available in the Gambia now, at Sharab at a cost of $25,000, and in Senegal it's probably more with all the extra expenses. But this is something that the patients have appealed to me over the years, and I've contacted lots of hospitals, and as a result I had the team from Manchester willing to work with us.
When you say the patients appeal to you, do they come to you directly or do you go to them and see for yourself what's happening there?
Well, it's a bit of both, really. I do travel to the Gambia quite often, but it's more of the patients appealing to me because a lot of them cannot afford to pay the $25,000 at Sharab, let alone go to Senegal. So and with the vascular access, you receive more effective dialysis as well. I have to mention that. The blood flows more than if you have the line on your neck or on your thigh.
Is this also because you're a healthcare personnel, you're in the health industry and you work?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not a healthcare personnel at all.
So why do you go to the hospitals then? Because without going there, they will not be able to see you and tell you their problems. Why?
Where, in Gambia?
Yes.
Well, since establishing the charity, because I feel that I'm working for the patients. Everything we do is centered around the patient. So it's good for us to know from the patients exactly what they're looking for, what sort of help and support they need, because that's the only way we can make sure that we're making a real difference. Because you cannot just make up what they need. You need to engage with them and listen to their problems. What are the immediate needs? What are the midterm needs? And then focus on that. If not, it becomes very stressful. It's stressful enough running a charity. But if you don't have a clear direction, it makes it really difficult. So I think for us it's important to engage the patients.
Okay, let's rewind a little bit backwards. You mentioned your mom passed away because of lack of facilities or care at the hospitals in the Gambia. What happened next?
When my mom passed away.
When she passed away, and what made you sit down and what is the process that you take to come to a charity? You sit down and say, okay, I have to do establish a charity to do that. What was the thought process that brought about this?
Well, I was fortunate that when my mom passed away, I was in the Gambia with her. And it was just, to be honest, up to this day, I don't know. I think I was consumed by grief. And I just wanted to make sure that whatever I was going through, the other patients and their families, will not have to go through that. I know that's a bit of, exaggeration, but I mean, this is exactly how I felt at the time. And I remember after the funeral, I went to the hospital. And I remember this time, you have to remember that they only had 4 machines with a massive patient population that they couldn't treat. So these patients will just come in the morning, every morning, and just sit outside on the corridors, hoping that the doctors would, call them in for assessment or for treatment, for a consultation, or even offer them treatment on the day. So I decided, after my mom passed away, after she was buried, I decided to go back there just to speak to the doctors and just assess the situation. And I think that's when I decided something has to be done because, these are human beings. We cannot just leave them to just suffer the way they were suffering. I mean, I knew at the time I wanted to set up a charity. I wanted to help them, but to be honest, I didn't know how. Okay. So this all came after. I remember coming back and saying to my family here, friends, I'm going to set up a kidney foundation. And they looked at me and went, what do you know about kidneys or anything? I said, well, I don't have to know anything about kidneys, but I have a vision. I know where I want to take this charity. And I'm going to go out there and find people who can do the things I can't do. And they said, okay, so how are you going to do that? I said, well, first things first, we need to expand the dialysis center. Then we need to look at how we can tap into expertise in the UK to go out there and support our patients. So I remember writing to the Chief Medical Director then and explained to him that I've decided to set up a charity.
And the medical director in the Gambia or Manchester?
In the Gambia.
In the Gambia, okay.
In the Gambia. Al-Jafari, his name was, I think he was from Egypt or Syria. So he said, oh, so how are you going to do that? You're going to build a building? I said, no, we don't have time to do that. I was wondering whether we can look at the hospital and see if there's a structure that we can use, a bigger structure than what we currently have, and convert it into a dialysis center. So he said to me, well, I don't know if we have such. I said, well, I'm planning to come to the Gambia. Maybe we can walk around the hospital grounds and just have a look. Maybe there might be something. So we started walking around, go to the children's wing, and I saw the structure. So I said to him, oh, what's the structure for? He said, it's for a laundry facility. I said, well, is it possible that we can convert this into a dialysis center? He said, well, I'll need to check. And eventually he came back and said, yes, we can do it. So then I came back and started thinking, okay, now we have the space, but we don't have any such engineers in the Gambia who can design a dialysis center. So that was when I phoned up the Royal London Hospital and got asked to be put through to their renal unit and asked to speak to someone within their technical team. And I remember it was the matron I spoke to who said it was this gentleman called Cyril Prince. He was the technical manager or something like that. He was responsible for all the equipment and the setup of the center and all of that. So anyway, cut long story short, she gave me his contact details. I emailed him and I explained the situation. I said, here we are, I'm setting up this charity, we need to expand, we've got a structure. I was wondering if you would be willing to support us to design the building, to convert it into a dialysis center. So after exchanging a few emails, he came back and said yes. So we traveled to the Gambia and he did all the measurements and told me that we can fit 14 machines in this building. So I had a conversation with the chief medical officer. He was like, so 14 machines? We don't have 14 machines. Are you going to give us the machines? I said, yes. I mean, I'll see what I can do. But here's how we're going to do it. You prepare the building for us, do all the work. You've got the plans. Cyril will do the plans, send it over. You can prepare the building, do the extensions, the tiling, flooring, air conditioners, everything. And we will provide all the equipment, plus look at expertise from the UK, engineers who can travel to the Gambia. And yeah, so that's what happened. I came to the UK, lobbied for equipment. Fortunately, got everything we needed, even got the engineers.
14 machines.
14 machines, and the water treatment system, and managed to get 2 engineers, one to set up the machines and one to do the water treatment system.
Okay. Did you buy those equipment?
No, I didn't buy them. The dialysis machines were donated by the Royal Sussex Hospital in Brighton, and the water treatment system was donated by Veolia Water Technologies.
Okay. We'll take our first break, and when we return, we shall continue the chat with the Ida Bass Kidney Foundation. Stay tuned.
InterFace TV. With us, the Gambia Chikau Chikanam Reekk.
At the heart of the Gambian way of life is the village and family. We have a vibrant and diverse culture full of music, dance, art, and a love of life. It's all around you, and you can feel it too. From the river comes fire. It brings light to the forest, wealth to its people, and new life to this fertile land. The love of nature and culture, the beautiful sun and sea, a land of friendship and peace. Gambia has it all. And
yo, this one for a blessed Gambia. The more we work together, the more we celebrate, the more we come together, the more we celebrate. Come on, let's get together. There's a place I love to be. The Gambia, the Gambia.
Welcome back. You're still watching InterFace Gambia TV show. And it's a special interview we're having with Sailey Jallow Fladsrud, who is with the Ida Bass Kidney Foundation. She's the founder of the Kidney Foundation that is doing a great job in the Gambia, helping out in the health sector. Before the break, we were talking about how you came about setting up this foundation. Let's move on now onto, you've already set it up, you got the equipment, and now here you are getting ready to go to Gambia to take this equipment to Gambia.
Yeah.
What happened next?
Well, got all the equipment, shipped them to Gambia, and got to the Gambia, and there was a problem. The building was incomplete. And I remember just walking into this structure, I was like, oh my God, what do we do? So, this is going to sound crazy, but I decided to take the team. I said, look, I tried to ask questions, what is going on? The minister wasn't around, the chief medical officer wasn't around. So I said to the engineers, you know what, let's go to the State House and speak to the president.
Okay.
I know.
Dramatic.
Because I was like, we worked so hard to put everything together.
And they were not ready for you.
And the building wasn't ready, and we were supposed to be in Gambia for 1 week. The whole plan was, everything is ready, the equipment was already there, come to Gambia, set it all up, test it, patients are there, having treatment, and then leaving.
When was this?
This was in September 2015.
Okay.
So I decided, I said to the team, let's go to the State House. So if no one is talking, let's go and find out from the president himself. I know it sounds crazy. So we went to the State House. The guard came with his big gun. Yes, can I help you? Do you have an appointment? I said no, but I'm here to see the president.
So you didn't have an appointment?
No.
And you just want to go to speak to the president.
Yes.
Because for you, he's the only person who can solve your problem. Because the rest, they were not doing what they were supposed to do. They were expecting you or not expecting you.
Well,
but what you...
They were expecting me.
And they didn't get ready for you?
No.
Right.
So I thought, he's always said to people, he encourage and welcome people who wants to help to build Gambia, make it a better country. So I thought, well, with all these things that he said in the past, maybe I should go and see him.
Did you reach out to anyone else before, marching to State House gate and knocking on the door?
But no one was around. And
Okay.
I called, no one wanted to speak to me.
Not even the medical director at the hospital?
No.
And the minister?
No. Because I don't think the minister was in town. But I have to say he was very supportive. It was Omar Sy at the time.
Okay.
He was a massive support, but I don't think he was around at the time.
Okay.
So we knocked. The guard came. No, you can't. You don't have an appointment. You can't see the president. I said, okay, can I see the vice president? No, you can't see the vice president. I said, sorry, let me just try and explain myself here. And by then I was getting really, really emotional. And I said, there are patients dying in that hospital who desperately need this equipment to stay alive. We've traveled this far. We've worked so hard to make sure that everything has been coordinated from our side to come and make sure that these patients get the treatment they deserve. And I am not leaving. I've traveled all the way from England. I've worked on this for over a year now, maybe coming to 2 years. I will sit here if I have to, until you can please, human to human. Just think about it, I said to the guy. If at all it was your wife, your mother, your daughter, sister, someone needed this treatment and couldn't access it, and they're about to die, what would you have done? Would you have allowed this delay to continue, or would you have said, you know what, I'm going to help you, let's fix this, give these people the treatment they need? So he looks at me and went, oh God, she's probably crazy or something.
Yeah, let me try and do something before she occupies State House here.
Exactly. Well, I don't think I would have got very far with that. But anyway, he went in, he said, okay, just wait here. He went in, came back, and he said, okay, someone will see you. I said, who? He said, secretary to the cabinet, Nuha Toure. We've explained the situation, and he's willing to see you. I said, thank you very much. So we went into Nuha's office, and he asked me what the situation was. I explained, and how desperately we wanted to get this set up to make sure the patients get the treatment. And he said, okay, don't worry. And he called someone, found out who the project manager was. And that was it. Called the project manager. What do you need? The project manager explained to him there's been delays because of funding. Or something. Anyway, they had a discussion and said to the project manager, come to my office, we'll raise the funds and get the building ready.
Okay.
And that was it.
All right.
Work started.
Wow, you took matters in your hands.
Yeah, we extended for another week. Well, myself and the engineer who was working on the machines extended for another week.
Okay.
And I have to say as well, this was paid for by the Ministry of Health. Because Omar Sy got involved, he was the minister at the time, and was very sympathetic with this whole situation and offered to pay for our extension and our hotel accommodation and everything.
Of course, with you banging at the State House door, of course, they will do anything.
You know what, when I think back, so what was I thinking? How can you, this is Yaya Jammeh.
There's passion for
banging
you.
on this door.
You have something greater than Yaya Jammeh, the patients who need to get support, of course.
Yeah. And I was probably looking at me and thinking, what a crazy woman, you come in here demanding to speak to the president. Well, anyway, yeah. Because for me, all I was thinking of was, we've put in all this work, and all we wanted to do was just to set up the equipment and give the patients the chance to live.
Okay. And with all this going on, the fundraising or getting the equipment together and the people, who are members of your team? Is it a one-person show, or you have family or friends?
No, it's a UK registered charity. We're on the Charity Commission website, and we have a team of trustees. It's myself, my husband, and Dr. Fowlis, Aki Fowlis. He's also a trustee, and the two engineers who were involved from the beginning are trustees as well. And I've got 2 other people as well involved.
Okay.
So it's about 7 of us, I believe.
Okay.
And Cyril as well, the gentleman who came to design the center for us.
Okay.
He's involved as well.
Now, how do you gather the expertise? I understand you've traveled with some doctors to go to Gambia to help. How were you able to get doctors from their busy schedule? Imagine the NHS here; they already have their hands full. How did you get them to go to Gambia?
Well, I've attended as many renal conferences as possible, and just speak to anyone who would listen, right into hospitals. And I think with Manchester, they probably just felt sorry for me when they probably looked into what I've been doing, maybe spoke to their colleagues, and they would have probably told them that this lady has
she's around again.
Yeah, oh my God, yeah, the worst nightmares again. But no, they must have had from their colleagues maybe that I've been advocating for this support, and I've been going to as many renal conferences as possible, right into as many hospitals. I even wrote to Manchester as well, Royal Stoke, I believe, and Guy's Hospital I visited as well, Royal London, and the one in North London somewhere near. Anyway, I can't remember the name now. So, like I said, to as many hospitals as possible, just appealing, advocating how desperately we needed this vascular access program in the Gambia. So I got a call one day from a consultant in Manchester. Said, my name is Dr. Afshin Tabakoli. We've been reviewing your request to appealing for support to establish vascular access program in the Gambia. And I'm calling to let you know that I would like to help you. And I was like, oh my God, I felt like someone slapped me or something. I was like, what?
That must be a happy slap.
I was like, oh my God. So anyways, like, I would like to help you. Tell me more. What do you need? How many patients do you have? And I said, well, we've got, at the time, we had 54 patients on the treatment program. And but I wasn't sure how many of them needed a fistula at the time when I spoke to him. So I did manage to speak to the nephrologist at the time, this Cuban nephrologist, and she did tell me the number of patients who needed the vascular access. So we discussed about the theatre facilities in the Gambia, what was available, what wasn't available. So I said to him, I think it's best if we just provide everything just to be on the safe side, because we don't want to get there and find out that certain things were not available. So yeah, he got one of his colleagues involved, another surgeon, Omar Masood, and also we needed a vascular scientist to map the veins to make sure that the right veins and arteries were being joined together for the surgery so that it will be successful, because we're not around, whatever we were doing. I was so determined to make sure that it was a success. So we got the vascular scientist and the vascular nurse specialist as well, because I also wanted for her to do some training on vascular access aftercare with the nurses there and also with the patients. So we got a team of 4, we got everything together, and yeah, we left. Went to Gambia. Okay,
you went with a team to Gambia and had this camp, we call it.
Yeah.
And let's have a watch of some of the clips that you have, because you went with a crew to also document what you were doing in the Gambia.
And this was last year, December
2018. Second trip. Let's have a watch, and then we shall come back after this clip from Ida Bass Kidney Foundation.
My name is Sailey Fladsrud. I'm the founder of the Ida Bass Kidney Foundation. The foundation was set up in 2013 in June. We've been going now for 5 years, and the reason why we're here today is to perform free vascular access surgery for the kidney patients. We've been collaborating with a team of surgeons from the Manchester Royal Infirmary.
My name is Abdul Siddiqui.
My name is Sharifa Kiega.
I am Afshin Tabakoli.
My name is Omar Masood.
I'm a transplant surgeon in the Manchester region.
I'm a clinical vascular scientist.
I'm a consultant transplant surgeon.
I'm a husband. I'm a dad to 2 kids. And sometimes I'm a transplant surgeon.
We made made this film to highlight the challenges with kidney care services in the Gambia and to show how the work of the InterFace Kidney Foundation is making a difference.
We're working at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, which is the main government teaching hospital in Banjul, the capital of Gambia. Even though I was prepared to see conditions that were quite different from the NHS, shall we say, I was taken aback by how sort of deprived the whole situation is. Patients are obviously very, very poor. They're piling out onto the corridors and onto the ground itself, waiting for the off chance of being able to speak to a medical person.
There is a real shortfall of kidney services in the Gambia. When your kidneys fail, you start to get a build-up, accumulation of toxins and byproducts of metabolism in the body. And if they aren't cleared, they start to become toxic and dangerous to the body and eventually not sustainable with life. A fistula is basically a surgical joint between an artery and a vein to raise the pressure in the vein high enough so that it can be needled to run a dialysis machine. Dialysis is essentially a mechanical alternative to the kidneys.
What I do is I look at the veins. The surgeons, before they create fistulas, they need the veins and arteries to be a specific size. So ultrasound penetrates the tissue and it helps to be able to visualize the veins for vein maps.
The purpose of the trip was to help people of Gambia. They are fantastic people. They work very hard with little resources. I have been lucky enough to be able to be involved from the start, to put the team together, to come here.
When the charity was established, there was only 4 dialysis machines for the whole country. And as a result, the patient mortality rate was extremely high. Most of these patients died before they could even access treatment.
So I went into the resuscitation area to see a man who had been found collapsed on the street, and his eyes were rolled back and he was shivering and completely incomprehensible, and would pull back his sheets and his feet were literally rotting. With flies in the room, the stench was unbelievable. There was nobody else there, no nurses, no doctors. And he'd obviously developed an infection in his feet and it had just become rampant and his feet were literally rotting. And as a healthcare professional, as a human being, it's very hard to put that somewhere in your place and to put that into perspective. Human beings shouldn't be rotting. However poor things are, however the situation is, you know, we are in a time and an age where we are doing surgery with robots. We have online doctors. We have phenomenal resources and technology that we use on a day-to-day basis. A human being should not be rotting to death, you know, and it might sound dramatic, but it was dramatic.
La ilaha illallah Muhammadu Rasulillah Sirin Fal Munafal Yalla Dal Mam Gayongo La ilaha illallah Fal Sharafal Abu Rijalullah Yalla Dal
InterFace TV. With us, the Gambia Chikau Chikanam Reekk.
At the heart of the Gambian way of life is the village and family. We have a vibrant and diverse culture full of music, dance, art, and a love of life. It's all around you, and you can feel it too. From the river comes fire. It brings light to the forest, wealth to its people, and new life to this fertile land. The love of nature and culture. the beautiful sun and sea. A land of friendship and peace. Gambia has it all. And
yo, this one for a blessed Gambia. The more we work together, the more we celebrate. The more we come together, the more we celebrate. Come on, let's get together. There's a place I love to be. The Gambia, the Gambia.
Yalla dal fa la bëggee yaram ñun de yaa ñu moom faal boole yilif ñu sak yaay de bosaaroy sa nga ñoo faal jàpp jaay maate nga yeewu di ma yee faal. Thank you very much.
We're going to do an operation for the local anesthetic, so he won't be asleep. Okay. So does he have any questions? Is he okay? So this is the form that we did to identify the vessels which would be most suitable to do for the operation. We're going to go on the left-hand side. It looks like we're going to go to the elbow to give him the best chance of a working fistula. Right, that was our first fistula today on our trip to Gambia. And it was a paediatric case, a 16-year-old young lad who has only very recently been diagnosed with renal failure. It was a difficult one, small, limited instruments, difficult with diathermy. It's our first time getting used to what the setup is like first, so it's taken a bit longer than perhaps we would do. Now that we know what we have and what we can do, we can hopefully now sort of motor on with the other cases. He tolerated very, very well. It's always a scary experience for them. Hopefully now this will heal in a matter of a few weeks, let it develop, and they'll be able to use that instead of the neckline that he's got. So hopefully this will do the trick now for many, many years.
I think the theatres in Gambia are different from what surgeons are used to in the UK, but they had to improvise, and I think they did a wonderful job.
Now, this hospital, there are a lot of challenges. Many of these challenges really are as a result of gross underfunding. Everybody is running around to make sure that the patients get the best care that they deserve. But naturally, if we do not have what we need for the job, it makes it very difficult. Now, you can see our infrastructure, a lot are dilapidated. This hospital is an old hospital. Many of the buildings need to be renovated and upgraded.
The patients themselves have this inspirational strength, and that's something that has the biggest impact on you. That's what brings you back.
Okay, my name is Kumuna Kora. Live in New Yundum. I'm 21 years old. Yes, I have old fistula, which is very big and affecting my heart. So my doctor advised me to terminate that one and make a new one.
So Mohammed was our final patient, and we sort of saved him for last because he was the most complex. He had a significant aneurysmal disease of a pre-existing fistula, which he had done in Senegal, and that definitely needed attention. He essentially had 2 operations performed on the same day.
Firstly, the surgery was successful, very successful, and I was very happy during the surgery because I have these people around me. I was amazed about the way they help people and the way they save people's life also. But unfortunately, everybody is not equal. So, like some patients, even they find it very difficult to come for dialysis. It's very bad and costly also. Not everybody can afford it. So if you ask that person to drink 2,400 to do the dialysis, it's going to be very, very, very difficult for the patient. And he or she needs to do dialysis 3 times a week. So that is huge amount of money. Yeah, that's the difficulty that we have in the hospital.
Dialysis is very expensive, and more people are developing kidney failure every day. And this is why it is very important for the work of the Ida Bass Kidney Foundation to continue in order to keep these patients alive.
Well, that was some clip from the Ida Bass Kidney Foundation. They are telling us what they were doing in the Gambia in December last year. As you could have seen in the clip, people were happy that they got the help that they needed from the hospital there, thanks to this lady here and her team. What was the experience like, if I may ask, going to Gambia
with the
team after having knocked at State House door, demanding that you want to see the president because your program is being stalled somehow by someone somewhere, and now here you are with your team, all of your, all of the surgeons, all the doctors, and the technical team there in the Gambia with the machines, and everything started going. What was going through your head at the time?
I was just thinking of the end result. What we're there to achieve. I mean, obviously, what you mean when the team
arrived, everything started going. You see the first patient go in, come out, smiling and so on.
That was just pure joy. It was such a lovely feeling. Because, what people need to understand is when you have someone who earns £50 a month, $3,000, and is got renal failure, and you expect this person to find $25,000 for the surgical procedure, it's impossible unless they get help from extended families and or savings. But for me, these were the group of patients I was working for to make sure that they're not left behind. They can have the fistula and they can have more effective dialysis, and as a result they'll have a better quality of life on dialysis. So the team they're excited, but again they were a bit apprehensive what they were going to meet on the ground, where they're going to be welcome, where the facility is going to be like. Is everything going to go as planned? But fortunately, everything went brilliant.
I can imagine it's not the kind of conditions they were used to.
No, I remember when they walked into the theater, because we had to share the one next to the maternity unit, and they were doing the C-sections on the other section. So they were operating and the babies were being delivered next door, C-section, and being rushed out, and wow, this is interesting as well. Welcome to Gambia.
At the end of the day, what was the feedback?
From the patients?
I mean, from the doctors that you travel with.
I think
it must be a hell of an experience for them.
For them, it was more fulfilling than what they do here, because they feel like they were making a real difference. They were making a real difference to provide a service that wasn't freely available in the Gambia. I think it was just that sense of fulfillment that we're doing something here that's really making a difference. And as a result, they were, quite looking forward to going back. And then we did go back last year. The first trip was in May 2016. I think. May 2017, I believe. And then we went back in December 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, May 2017 and December 2018.
Are you planning another camp this year or next year?
Well, we were supposed to be going December this year. But I don't know what's going to happen, because we've been seeing on social media.
Is it 3 years, Jotna, is making you apprehensive?
Yeah, 3 years just now, it's becoming more and more of a reality. And I really don't want them to
go there and find the prospect of 3 years Jotna making havoc on their trip.
Exactly. So, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen, but I think it's safer if we just wait till the new year and see how things.
Okay. Last month you were. What was that you were giving?
Oh, consumables.
Consumables.
Yeah, we do that on a regular basis.
Okay.
So we've been supporting with dialysis, bloodlines, these supplies that they need for their treatment. We do that on a regular basis.
Yeah, consumables. These are the items that they normally use for the treatment.
For the treatment, yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now let's come to the dinero part.
Yes.
The fundraising part.
Yes, the juicy part.
Yes.
Why I'm really here.
Yes. How do you raise funds?
Well, so many. I mean, I've done some we have an annual fundraiser we do with the British 10K run, which last year we had quite a good turnout, 30 runners, and I think we raised over £8,000. Mm-hmm. And this year, unfortunately, we couldn't do it. But we've been doing it every year since 2014. But this is the only year that we couldn't do it. And I just approach individuals directly with projects that we're working on for funding. Mm-hmm. So that's what
you must have a database of individuals who can give you something that you want, because you see, it looks like you just go knock on their doors.
Well, it's not as simple as that, but I wish it was. But now I've got a list of people that when we're really stuck, I do approach with a proposal and say, look, this is what we're working on. Like, for example, when we were traveling with the surgeons, the first trip we needed money, so we were able to raise the extra funding we need through these individuals. So I'm really grateful for their support.
Okay. Are you looking for more support?
Yes. I mean, as we speak, we've only still have the 14 machines for the whole country. I do have... we did have some machines in the Gambia to set up a second center, but this never materialized. And I did write to the CEO at the Kanam General Hospital at the time. I think this was in 2016. That now that we've set up this center, we need a second center because we still had more and more patients coming through for treatment. And we can only have 54 patients at any given time on the treatment program. Mm-hmm. So, but recently I've opened up that discussion again with the new CEO, Keba Mane. He's been absolutely fantastic, brilliant.
I met him earlier this year.
Really?
Actually, last month they were doing a surgical camp, 3-day surgical camp in there, funded by a local charity called Vision Development Foundation.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's been very engaging with us. Unfortunately, they don't have a structure we can use, but we have been allocated a plot within the hospital grounds to build a structure. And we've got an architect. Well, we did have one, but things didn't work out. So now we have a new architect.
He's charging you more money?
No. We've got someone who's going to pay for this service.
Okay.
With the first one, he was volunteering his service. He was actually recommended to us by Omar Gay at Gamworks. But things didn't work out. But now we have a second architect who is, his services are being paid for by one of our private donors.
Okay.
So he's planning to go to the hospital to do site evaluation. But I have, whilst we've been waiting for all of that to happen, because until the plan has been done, the costing has been done, we will know the exact amount it's going to cost for the structure to be built.
Meanwhile, you have machines waiting to be used.
Well, we did have some in the Gambia, but I think they have, we're not going to use them anymore. They've been sitting there way too long. So now I've recently, I think it was yesterday, I came back from ART conference in Cheshire. It's the Association of Renal Technologies, and they have this annual conference. And I did write to them, asked to be invited, as usual. All right then, we'll send you an invitation. You can come and harass us all. So anyway, I went, and I love it for better equipment for this new center that we're planning to build. So the support has been great. We've got lots of pledges for equipment.
Okay.
But so far what I've been able to do is to set up a page I did set up a GoFundMe page, but I was told in the UK it's better to go for the Just Giving. That way they can add the gift aid. So I've now set up a Just Giving page with £10,000 on it. I mean, like I said, that's not going to be the cost of the structure. It's going to be a lot more. But this is just to pay for the initial cost. So at least until we know the real cost, of course I'm not going to expect to fundraise on a GoFundMe or Just Giving page for that.
Yeah.
So again,
you still go back to your people with deep pockets.
Well, yeah, you have to. And to be honest, I've been speaking to some people in Gambia as well. Some of the banks as well. They're interested to support, and media.
I was going to say, where's the local support? Because it all seems like you're getting the support from this end, but not from that end.
Yeah.
Even Gambians in the diaspora, are they supporting?
Yes, I mean some of them. I mean, I don't want to name names, but I know some in the US and here who are willing to support with this project once we know the true cost of the whole project. And also some banks in the Gambia and some wealthy individuals in the Gambia have also pledged their support. So obviously I cannot approach them now for money. I'd rather wait until the full project proposal has been completed.
And the costing has been done.
The costing, the plans, and everything is in one document. That way they can look at it and say, okay, I can support with X, Y.
And the centre at the Royal Victoria Teaching Hospital, well, as you call it, Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, is still ongoing?
Yes, it's still running. Yeah, still running.
Okay.
I mean, with great difficulty sometimes, we still have challenges. I mean, I've always said that...
What are those challenges?
Consumables is still a bit of a challenge. Supplements for the patients is a challenge. The maintenance of the center is a challenge. I mean, we all know that that center wasn't purposely built for a dialysis center. It's not perfect, but I mean, it's what we had at the time. So, I mean, there are still challenges with it, but I'm hoping that with this new center, it's going to be a 24-bed center.
Okay, that is going to be in Serakunda.
In Serakunda General Hospital. And then we can look at other hospitals. I mean, so far, I've also visited Farafenni Hospital. At the time, I think Mr. Cham was the CEO. He moved to the Ministry of Health lately. Amadou Cham, I can't remember his name. Anyway, he was the CEO, so I visited and proposed to him what we were planning for his hospital at the time. That we just say can we come and have a site visit to see, and Bansang Hospital as well. I have written to the CEO, Baba Jeng, as part of our long-term plan, because we still have patients traveling for as far as Basse, Gambisara, because when I speak to them, I tend to find out where they're from. So I think if we can have centers in those hospitals, it will limit the number of patients having to leave their families, their children, and having to come and...
Okay, you've come a long way from visiting, seeing your mom at the hospital and seeing other people needing that kind of service, with the heavy heart going home, and then after grieving your mom, decided to set up this charity. With the passion and the determination to the point of knocking at the State House door at Yaya Jammeh's time, here you are. I mean, thinking of expanding to Serakunda, Farafenni, to other places around the Gambia. It's amazing.
I remembered my brother Alaji Jallow took me to see the First Lady. We had an audience with her, Fatoumata Barbara, Her Excellency. And she proposed to have a center in Basse. I was like, well, I think that might be a bit, stretching it a bit too much. But I think Bansang should be close enough to cover that
area.
whole area.
Okay. All right. And where do you get the energy from?
I don't know. I really don't know, because I don't even drink coffee.
I was going to ask, you must be a very, very big Red Bull fan.
No, I don't even drink Red Bull. I don't like Coca-Cola. I drink tea. I love tea. I think for me, it's just a desire to help. And having seen what I've seen, my mom was such a fantastic woman. I mean, she was so kind, loving, and caring. And, and I keep thinking to myself, for us to suffer what we suffered, especially, me being there in the last days before she passed, and just looking at the families going through what I'm going through, I mean, if I can do anything to make sure that their families live longer, I think.
If anybody is listening or watching right now will think that you're actually a medical professional, well, you aren't.
No, I'm not. I'm not a doctor at all. I am not a doctor at all. I don't need to be a doctor. You know, all I need is a vision and lots of energy to go out there and get the people to do things I can't do. And it's been very fulfilling.
Okay.
Very fulfilling to know that when we started, how high the patient mortality rate was, to now we're seeing patients living longer. And I'm thinking once we have this center set up at Kanifin as well, all the patients currently on the waiting list, they can have access to treatment. And you can imagine how much longer people would live. And not to mention, once we set up in Farafenni and in Bansang, you know, that would be like a dream come true. And the ultimate dream would be to build a renal hospital one day, have a transplant program. Don't know when that's going to happen.
Right.
I've had this discussion with the surgeons because the team who travel to the Gambia, they're all transplant surgeons here. That's what they do. The vascular access is just something they know how to do.
How to do it, and they decided to come along. Yeah.
Their day job here with the NHS is they're all transplant surgeons.
And your day job is data analyst at Thomson Reuters.
Yeah.
It's quite different from the medical sector. Like I said earlier on, if anybody's watching or listening to you right now, will think, okay, he must be in the medical profession.
No.
Not at all. And the way you pronounce the terms and so on, just like it's just really passionate about this.
It's been 6 years. I'm learning. You know, I've been teaching myself a lot of things, and I think it's important, especially when you go out there to sell your agenda. You need to know what you're talking about. I mean, you don't have to know all the little details, but I mean, I did find the time to learn about stuff, especially what kidneys do, and when your kidneys fail, what impact that has on the body, and you know how important is the treatment to keep you alive, and things you should avoid eating, just little things like that.
Yeah,
just to educate myself.
That brings me to the next segment of the interview, that is sensitizing people in the Gambia. Are you also heading in that direction?
Well, I mean, I try to do my best when I'm in Gambia to go on TV, on the radio stations, to try and raise awareness. And I think because of that work I've been doing over the years has maybe it's the reason why we have so many patients knocking on the dialysis center. I don't know. But I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
At least
awareness, because they're aware that this is an issue, they need to deal with it.
Exactly. And when I'm with the team of surgeons as well, we always do a program on GRTS where they can talk about the signs of kidney failure. And I will talk about, if you feel all these, any of these signs, where you can go and have some tests done.
Perhaps we can do that. It's not on GRTS, but we don't have a full hour. Take us through some of the things that you tell people when you go on these sensitization campaigns.
Well, I don't do the clinical side of it. That the team normally would do that, and they will talk about things to look out for, like if you're urinating at night, you have to urinate a lot. And the patients who are at high risk, like diabetics, hypertensives, they should make sure that they monitor their condition, because these are the underlying issues that causes renal failure, eventually in some people. So these are the things that they talk about, and we all know that non-communicable diseases are in the rise in the Gambia, especially with diabetes and hypertension. And once that trend continues, we are likely to see more patients
with kidney, and the kidney is a very vital organ in the human body.
Well, of course it is. I mean, imagine whatever you eat, your kidney filters it and removes it. So when they fail, what's going to filter anything?
Yeah, you have a lot of toxic stuff in you.
Yeah, we can eat nyambenyebe, and nyambenyebe is not going to come out, nothing to filter it. So you need to have dialysis. To, not like I'm recommending nyambenyebe. I was told that by the doctors that kidney patients are not supposed to consume beans because it's a lot harder to remove from the system for whatever reason. I mean, I don't know, I'm not a clinician, but I've been told this. So please don't eat nyambenyebe if you got kidney failure. But I mean, these are the things that the kidneys do. They filter, and also the fluid as well. This is why a lot of them, when their kidneys fail, they become very swollen and puffy, because there is no way for the fluid to, be removed out of the body.
Yeah.
And at the end, some of them don't even urinate at all. So you can imagine without dialysis,
Okay. Right, before we conclude this interview, perhaps you can tell us what is the next thing that you're doing? What are the program of activities that you would like to do? And of course, if you have some appeals that you want to do to our listeners and our viewers right now.
Well, I mean, the programs, obviously, is the second center at Carnifin General Hospital. That's the key project that we're working on at the moment. And also, we've got some training programs in the pipeline, but this is for the staff in the Gambia to travel to Senegal. We're hoping that 6 of them will initially travel to Senegal to get some hands-on training. And we're also working with the International Society of Nephrology to support us, to apply for grants to train, I think initially it will be a nephrologist and then a vascular surgeon.
Okay.
So rather than at the moment, we rely heavily on Cuba for renal support. So for
you want to train Gambians
Absolutely.
to also be in the position to help, like the people that you travel with from the UK to the Gambia.
Absolutely. I mean, capacity building is key for us because, I mean, we cannot rely on outside help. It's not sustainable. We really need to look at how we can train Gambians. For me, that's what I would like to see. Especially when we're looking to expand, setting up other centers within the country. I would like to see Gambians there doing the job that these foreigners are coming to our country to do, and train our people to do it. And this is something that we are really looking into doing some more work around.
Okay. And any appeals that you want to say or ask people to help?
Yes, I mean, at the moment we've got the fundraising page. It's on the website, which is www.ibkf.org.uk. There's a fundraising page there, and you can just click on and support with as much as little as you can afford.
Okay.
And if there is any clinicians as well out there who would like to get involved and feel that they have something to offer, we're happy to engage with them.
Do you do collaboration with other charities as well?
No, I mean, we have been approached in the past, but again, I mean, I don't mind collaborating with other charities, but it has to be beneficial to us as well. We cannot just collaborate just for the sake of collaborating. There has to be something beneficial for our charity.
But you're open to,
of course,
anyone who wants to come and support and be part of it, or we can do it together.
Absolutely. I mean, if there are any charities out there who feel that we can work together towards a common goal, I'm happy to engage with them and see how best we can collaborate.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sailey Jallow Fladsrud of the Ida Bass Kidney Foundation. Well, viewers, this is what we have for you on this special segment of the InterFace Gambia TV show. It's been a wonderful chat that we had with our sister here, Sailey, and somehow at some point it was hilarious, but very passionate about what she wants to do. Can you imagine in 2016 banging on State House door looking for something, and it's 15 actually 2015 banging on State House door looking for something that she is really passionate about. That's passion for you, and something that you believe in, something that you want to do to help other people. This is an embodiment of that. And Sailey, we dock our hearts to you. We say to you, good luck with all the activities that the Ida Bass Kidney Foundation is doing. Hey, Gambians, let's support Ida Bass Kidney Foundation. Whatever donation you can do, go to the website and donate. And of course, the Serekunda General Hospital is the next thing that they want to conquer in terms of helping and building a center there that will help a lot of people. So dig into your pockets and support. Go to the website, the GoFundMe page, or Just Giving page will also be there at some point on the Facebook page. So please help and support. I mean, give out your money because she can't do it alone. Let's support, let's help, let's put in our efforts. If you cannot put in the money, put in your brains. Give us suggestions to her and the foundation. On that note, we say a very big thank you for being there, and it's been a wonderful time having you watching us on InterFace Gambia TV show. It's been a pleasure. Lamin Jaiteh. Good night.
InterFace TV. With us, the Gambia, Chikau Chikanam Reekk. This